John Wesley once said, "Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can." And that idea is still really relevant today. He believed that faith wasn't just about what you believe, but about what you do, especially when it comes to helping others. In this video, I'm going to be exploring Love Your Neighbour, which is a community larder run out of Launceston Central Methodist Church, and how it reflects the mission of the Methodist Church in a practical, real-life way. Projects like this show how the church is not just a place of worship, but something active in the community, responding to real needs like poverty and food insecurity. As I go through, I'll be looking at how this project started, what its purpose is, and the impact it has had on people. I'll also be focusing on one key question: where can we actually see God at work in this project? Can you introduce yourself and your role in Love Your Neighbour?
My name's Mike. I'm one of the co-leaders of the community larder, and this is
Val. I'm his wife, and I am the other leader of the Love Your Neighbour community larder.
Love Your Neighbour started during COVID and is very different now to when it started. Can you tell me about these changes and what its main aim is today?
Thank you, Angela. Our journey starts at the beginning of COVID, when government money was being made available to help out local communities in the southwest. This was taken up by our friends at FareShare, who in their spare time set up a temporary distribution network. We were one of the early adopters, thanks mainly to our Anglican and Catholic colleagues who drew this to our attention. We were already helping out by delivering prescriptions and food bank parcels to families in their homes, but we didn't really know how to take this forward. To our surprise, our network of doorstep deliveries quickly developed and peaked at around 80 local households, which represented about 240 adults and children. Time passed, COVID finished, and a kind of normality began to return. We began to encourage people to visit the larder in person, and we gradually phased out our delivery systems. It was a difficult time. We lost a few friends, but it was the right decision, and we gained more, and we were able to adapt to the current needs of the community. In the meantime, FareShare were building their network with a new warehouse and delivery system, which we were then able to buy into. They became known as FareShare Southwest. In addition to this, we now have contracts with local food outlets, which include Cornwall Gleanings, Co-op, Lidl, Marks and Spencer's, Ginster's, Premier Foods and Greggs. We understand that FareShare Southwest currently service around 300 outlets, including our own, weekly delivery, and they have plans to expand. Our footfall in the larder usually exceeds 200 weekly. Our main aim is to help and support those who are experiencing food poverty, while we are also doing our bit to tackle food waste.
How has the church been involved in this project from the beginning to now?
The church has been actively supportive in this project from the outset, generously allowing full and unrestricted use of the Dingley Hall, which we could not have managed without. Our volunteer team, initially from different church groups and denominations, is now almost exclusively from the people in the community that we serve. We integrate with other outreach activities such as Central's Chatterbox, our own Family Fun Day and the Community Breakfast. Also with outreach provided by other local churches and volunteer groups. Some of our guests make their home in the church and some don't. I recently had the privilege of seeing one of our larder guests being baptised in a sister church, and also another of our guests has renewed their faith and recently read the lesson from the front of the church at Central.
What happens on a typical day, and how do volunteers support the people who come?
We open the Love Your Neighbour larder 3 times a week, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday. I'm personally not there on a Wednesday as I have other commitments. I will talk about Friday because that's probably the one that the most happens. It starts about 9:30 in the morning. We have some of our volunteers are brilliant. They go out to the local supermarkets and pick up the surplus food, bring it back to the larder, and then we're all involved in offloading it from the cars, bringing it in up the stairs, bringing and sorting it out on the tables, getting rid of any perished food. And then we have boxes of pasties and slices that come from a local pasty firm, and they generously donate those to us, and those all have to be bagged up and labelled properly and put away in the fridge. And then a little bit later, our FareShare delivery arrives. We have a subscription with FareShare. They arrive, and again we help with unloading crates of food, sorting it out, putting it in the right place, putting it in the fridge if it needs it, until everything is put away properly. And then we usually have a little bit of a downtime where, you know, we can go off and do other things. And then we're usually back again just after lunch to set up properly for the customers. And the customers can come in from 3 o'clock till 4 o'clock. And so once we're all back in again, the volunteers all have a place in the room. They know what their role is, and we're there to welcome the people as they come in. And they come in their dozens. We have big queues of people coming in, and they filter their way round and take out what they need and put it in their bags. And then we invite them to stay if they want to for a tea or a coffee, and usually a donut that's been donated from a local pastry place. And then we can have a chance also to chat to people, and that's one of the important things, that we can talk to them as they come in. We chat a bit as they go round, we can sit with them at the table and chat, and that is where we get to know a little bit about these people and start to make friendships.
I understand some third parties come along to support the people who attend. Can you tell me about them and the services that they can offer and the difference you hope it makes in people's lives?
A number of professional agencies now work with us, and many join us in the room. We have regular visits from Cornwall Energy Plus and South West Water, our community police officer, and many others. We work closely with our NHS social prescribers, the mobile NHS homeless team, etc., and they with us. By being visible in the room, signposting is very much easier. Some of our visitors are also collecting for friends, produce for their neighbours, and one of our guests actually uses our produce to source their own project in a different area.
What is your role as a volunteer, and how do you support the people who come?
Okay, our role as a volunteer is multifaceted, really. One of our roles obviously is to provide food and things for people that need it. We also have a few bits of clothing and some books and things that they can take away free. But as well as that, and probably more than that, it is the fellowship and welcoming them in and being a friend to them and listening when they want to tell you something and share something with you. And that they build up a bit of trust then and are willing to share more difficult things with us. And I think that's an important part of our role, that we can chat to people. And on occasions we have been able to even pray for people if they're struggling with things, and they will share these things with us. And people generally are quite happy to accept prayer. And at times we can invite them to things within the church. And we have had a few people who have visited the larder who have come in and joined the church, which is lovely to see. Although we would love to see more come along and do the same.
What kind of community has formed around the larder?
The community that has developed around the larder is a close one. Not quite church on the margins, but very close. Many of our visitors we regard as friends, and after the initial food rush is over, many settle down for coffee, cake and a natter. Friendships are made, problems are shared, and solutions can sometimes be found.
How do you recognise or measure the impact the project is having?
We have to believe that we have an impact by doing the larder each week. One, by looking at the number of people who come through the door, and that is a great number, and also the fact of people who are willing to share things with us. And we do believe that that is the important part, that they are getting to know us, we're getting to know them, and they are willing to share. And sometimes they share things that are quite personal. And obviously we've got to be respectful and listen and keep it confidential. But it's so good when we can be there for them and share things and offer to pray. And we believe we are having an impact that way, because some people are struggling, not just financially, but emotionally, mentally. Sometimes it's through illness, sometimes they've lost a job. And we have seen people in those circumstances, and we've been able to chat with them and suggest that they try different avenues for help and also to offer prayer, which I think is very important.
John Wesley, the founder of Methodism, believed strongly in helping the poor and putting faith into action. Do you see any connection between his teachings and what you do here?
Wesley echoes Jesus' teaching and is therefore at the heart of what we do. Social justice involves the last, the least and the lost and the marginalised. We believe that a church which focuses outwards on its community is both compelling to the community and delights our Lord. We often find that he surprises us with his goodness and his grace. Our heart continues to be strangely warmed. Our minister, Reverend Miller, describes what we do as soft entry points to the community, into the church and beyond.
How does your faith influence the way the project runs, and where do you see God at work?
Yeah, I believe my faith does shape the way that we work in the larder. We want to treat everybody equally and fairly. We welcome everybody and we don't ask them to fill forms in. We don't question them about their finances or anything like that. We want everybody to be welcome. And for some people, they're coming because they want to see that no food is wasted. They don't want it to go to landfill. So they're just coming to pick up maybe a few bits of vegetable. And for others, it's a lifeline. It helps them along with their weekly shop. So yeah, I believe our faith does shape that, because we want to treat them with dignity. We don't want them to feel like they have to grovel for stuff. And people will still say, oh, but other people need it more than I do. And we say to them, no, everyone's welcome. You know, do come in and take something. And I think that's part of it, the fact that, you know, we try and treat everybody the same. And we try to be kind to people. And also, you know, listening to their needs, trying to support them where we can. And I think we've seen, particularly in several people, one lady in particular who came once and was quite sort of shy and didn't really want to take too much. And she was another one who said, oh, other people need it more than I do. But she was obviously very upset when she came in, and she took just a few things. And then we were able to sit down with her and chat and give her a cup of tea and chat with her. And lots of things came out about her situation, about her family's finances, about her husband's illness, about his job situation, which was precarious. And she was really struggling. They said they were struggling to make ends meet. And she was able to just take a little bit. And each time she came, she felt more comfortable to take perhaps a little bit more. And, you know, months later, this lady is in a better place. Her family is in a better place. And she's now come back and asked if she can volunteer. And she's now one of our trusted volunteers, which is lovely to see. So I think that's quite important. A lot of people do say they want to give back. They found friendship here. They found company. Some of them are lonely. Don't see anybody from one end of the week to the next. And I think it's really important that they can come here, even if it's just for a chat and a cup of tea and a bit of food. It's something to do, somewhere to go, where they feel that they're a person, an important person.
What challenges does the project face, and what are your hopes for its future?
Our project inevitably faces challenges. We have to be fully engaged with the laws of the land, such as food hygiene, safeguarding health and safety, etc. And this can and has caused tensions. Sometimes difficult decisions have to be made. We don't have any previous experience in food logistics and team management, but we have built experience over time while making some mistakes. Some of our guests come with mental health issues, addictions of various kinds, are victims or have caused broken relationships. We have vulnerable adults and children, and we need to be constantly vigilant. Our premises have issues that need to be urgently resolved, and although our financial needs are small, they still have to be managed and met. Our volunteers continue to amaze us with their commitment, but there is a lot of collection, food management and logistics. The work can be hard and tiring, but extremely rewarding, and the Lord sustains and upholds us in everything that we do.
So, after exploring this community larder, I think it's clear that it really reflects John Wesley's belief that faith should be lived out through action. His idea that the gospel knows no holiness but social holiness can be seen in the way this project supports people, builds community and responds to real needs. It shows that the church's mission is not just about belief but about making a difference in people's lives. I think you can see God at work here in simple but powerful ways. through the kindness of volunteers, the dignity shown to people using the service, and the sense of community that's been created. At the same time, it raises important questions, like why there is still such a need for projects like this, and what more could be done by both churches and individuals. Overall, I think this project is really inspiring because it shows how faith can move beyond words and have a real impact, continuing the work that John Wesley encouraged. Thanks for watching.